This week offers us a lot of solutions and a lot of good news, and it also helps us to do something that's difficult with a lot more ease and flow than normal. In honor of Saturn entering Pisces, we're giving you a 30-day free all-access pass to Chani premium content. All you have to do is enter Saturn 30, that's SATURN, uppercase 30, in the redeem offer code section of the app and enjoy. Offer code is valid until March 31st. Hello and welcome. This is the astrology of the week ahead, and I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. All right, y'all. This week's astrology is pretty straightforward, and it's all pretty helpful as well. Last week was a major moment and a big shift, which you might still be feeling. We just had Pluto go into Aquarius, so there is a very new kid in town. There is a new influence in our lives that's going to be shaping things for many decades to come. So that just happened. Saturn also just changed signs for the first time in a couple of years. It's in Pisces for the first time in like 30 years. So again, March brings us a lot of big shifts. Also, Mars finally changed signs after 7 months. So we're in like a new territory now this week. Everything's like, okay, the shifts have occurred. They're still rolling out, obviously, in terms of their impact. But we're in a new place. We are in a new space. And I'd love for you to consider that in your life. Just like imagining that you are in a new situation. Kind of like you moved to a new town. Like you're still you, your past still happened, all of that stuff comes with you. Wherever you go, there you are. But you are in a place where you get to build a new life. And it's not like everything has changed, but enough astrologically has shifted so that I'd love for us to consider, to imagine, to fantasize that we have a new kind of playground to work with. And we get to define this as we go. And this week helps to kind of boost our confidence with all of that and with that thought process. Like if I could be in a place where no one knew me and no one knew anything about me, how might I enter it? How might I want to enter it? What might I allow myself to do at this point in my life that I couldn't before because of whatever responsibility or situation? But now it's different. I could try this. Could I let myself do it? So on March 27th, on Monday, March 27th, we have Mercury, the planet of communication, and the announcer, and also the transmitter and translator of our skies, coming together with Jupiter. And Jupiter is the babe of bounty and many a fun time. So if the planet that's transmitting messages is with the planet that wants to bring bounty and abundance and wisdom and expansion, then it sounds like good news to me. So I love this for all of us. The part of your chart that contains Aries will generally have probably something good to tell you. I'd love for you to, again, keep your mind open, keep your senses open, keep yourself open to whatever positive messages are coming towards you, because this day feels like it is full of them, and really a lot of the week will feel like that as well. So, bearing that in mind, what could you do to help promote that? Monday can be used in a really practical way for announcing anything that you want to grow, that you want to take shape, that you want to get magnified out in the world. Monday's astrology is really helpful for getting the attention that we want in terms of the messages that we're trying to get across, especially if they are messages of generosity, generativity, abundance, good news, and like big announcements or bold statements. And it's a really good day. If you don't have anything like that to put out to the world, don't worry, no pressure. But it is a really good day to say to yourself, like, what could I do? What could I say to myself, to someone in my life that would feel bold and courageous, but that I know I'm totally ready to say or to state or to put out into the world? This is a day that's like, yes, go for it. It's now or never. Like, we're in a new kind of situation. Let's do this. Why are you wasting time? There's an urgency here to get the good message out. So think about how that might be working in your life. And then on Thursday, the 30th, we've got Mars in Cancer making a trine to Saturn in Pisces. Now, what this does, when Mars and Saturn come into alignment in a helpful way, which is what they're doing, is it helps us to do something challenging with a lot more ease than we normally would. And because these two planets right now are in water signs, it does feel like there's something here about flow. What's flowing? What helps you do the hard thing? And how might you attune yourself in a way that feels emotionally intelligent to doing the thing that is challenging but necessary? And maybe that's putting like too hard of a point on it. Maybe it's just that there's something that's generally difficult that's a little bit easier this week for you. And great, you don't have to do anything with it. But if you want, what I would do is, like, in the later part of the week especially, is like meditating on how you could facilitate something, not by pushing and not by pressing and not by forcing, but by getting into a state where you're working from the inside out, where you're really working from a place of, you might call it intuition or feeling or your gut instinct, and saying, I'm going to feel around here for the easiest and smoothest way to do this hard thing. I'm going to wait for the internal signals to make sure that this thing can go. And I'm going to work with what I've got. So sometimes, many times, what we might call like magic is really just an internal shift that happens. And then the external part of our situation starts to work in a way that we're like, oh, isn't that interesting? I made this internal shift, and then this external thing started to move with me. So I'd love for you to use the later part of the week to see how that internal-external mirroring happens. Again, aiding you to do something that's challenging, but like very satiating to do. Okay. It's the first time that Mars and Saturn are coming together in water signs in a very long time. So it's fascinating for me to kind of like look at and be like, wow, that's a really different take on Mars-Saturn connections. Again, Mars-Saturn things like conjunctions, squares, sextiles, whatever they are, it's either going to be a hard time doing a hard thing or like an easier time doing a hard thing. This is an easier time doing a hard thing. But because it's happening in water signs, it does speak to our ability to move with the flow and our ability to be in tune with our emotional intelligence and to work with our faculties in a way that's, again, not just about like brute force or making sure that we've like got everything together in a really systematic or intellectual way. Like all those things are very helpful. Maybe not the brute force part, but you know, like the hard work and the systematizing things. But this is a different tempo and a different temperament. And so it's really about making sure we're attuned emotionally, energetically to what's happening. If something is challenging out there, what do I need to do? Like, what do I need to attune myself to be of better service to it so that it works out in a way that feels more flowing or effortless? Okay. Also on Thursday, Venus and Uranus make a conjunction. Now, this might be a little bit more explosive. This might be a little bit more edgy. This might be a little bit more challenging. It might offer the right kind of friction to have a good time. I don't know, like Uranus is a planet that is loud and abrasive and brings change, but is very exciting and very eccentric and very different and new. And Venus is a planet of love, relationship, connection, and pleasure. So it is encouraging us to do pleasure differently. It is encouraging us to do relationships differently. It is encouraging us to experiment with new ways of connecting to one another and also new ways of enjoying beauty, art, and all of those wonderful, splendid, pleasure-filled things. So it might bring about a shift in a relationship. It might bring something to the surface that feels like very important to pay attention to, because when Uranus touches something, it wants to update it, or it cracks it open so that we can see what isn't working, what can't survive the earthquake, so to speak, that Uranus sometimes brings, or like a lightning bolt of illumination, but it also cracks something open. So if there's something that feels like it's almost coming to a point of breaking in a relationship, this transit might open that for us and crack it open. And if that's true for you, what I would say is just, go kindly with yourself. Go slowly if you can. I wouldn't make any dramatic, sweeping statements on astrology like this, because it already feels like it's kind of more prone to do that for us. So just kind of watching the shifts or the changes or awakenings that are happening in terms of your relationships, in terms of your intimacy issues, in terms of your creative projects or your art, or in terms of the way you're styled. This astrology can make us want to cut all our hair off and throw out all our clothes. I wouldn't say to do that. I'd say to let it pass, but there might be a need to do something that helps you feel like you're updating or innovating your presentation. All right, y'all. Sending you lots of love. That is the reading for the week. I hope that the good news just comes pouring in. I hope that it also is moving through you. If there's something you haven't said to someone that is about how much you appreciate them, please use Monday's astrology to do so. It will only help everything. Anything good that you can say, anything positive, any kind of message of affirmation that you can give to yourself or other people will be magnified by this astrology, and we can always use a little bit more of that. Thank y'all so much for leaving reviews in the App Store. It means the world to us. I wanted to share one with you. It's called Practically Perfect in Every Way. I adore this app, from Chani's smooth, crystalline voice to her beautiful astrological insights, from the mountain of personalized information to the fantastic art. This app is well worth it. Makes me happy and gives me guidance while acknowledging my free will. Sending you lots of love, many blessings. Bye for now.